Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out this podcast with 5 steps to improve your poker results. You're going to see this static image throughout the episode, but if I discuss specific visual items, for example, Bigfoot, I'll put it up on the screen for you. But for the most part, you could just kick back and listen to the poker talk. There are links in the description below to the show notes page and for anything else I discuss. Let's do this. Gambate!
Bob, in all my years of calling games, I don't think I've ever been this excited.
You're excited? Feel these nipples.
So I'm sure all of you tournament players, you would love to increase your return on investment or your profits, right? Like you want to jump it up by 15, 25, 50, 75%. And you cash game players, I'm sure you'd love to have higher earnings, like a bigger bankroll, but also just see that winnings per hour or your big blind per 100 hands win rate jump up as well. So here are 5 strategies to help you increase your profitability right now. I'm listing them in order of simplicity. So number 5 is the easiest to implement. Number 1 is the hardest to do. But the harder it is to implement one of these things, the more profit potential it has behind it. So number 5, the easiest thing you can do is play the stakes that you are bankrolled for. Before we get into it, here is the simplest bankroll rules that I recommend my students. For cash game play, you want to have 40 buy-ins, at least 40 buy-ins in your bankroll. So if you're playing $10 buy-in games, you want to have a $400 bankroll. For tournament players, you want to have somewhere between 100 to 200 buy-ins. Now, the higher you move up in stakes, the more buy-ins you want to have because your competition is a little bit more difficult or more experienced, harder to get through. But if you normally buy into $10 games, or actually $10 plus 1 for the rake, right? $11 games, you want to multiply that by at least 100, so you want $1,100 in your bankroll. Now, let me tell you why it's critical to play within your bankroll. You want to avoid having that scared money mentality. It's really stressful when a quarter of your bankroll is sitting on the table in front of you. Let's say you have a $2,000 bankroll. You buy into a $500 tournament. Wow, 1/4 of your stake at risk, or bankroll at risk. When you have so much at risk, making those aggressive, chip-committing plays, it can be scary and hard to do. Some of you, hey, you have no problem with it. But for most of us, when you're bluff check raising for like $120 and that's committing 1/4 of your stack, which is also like 1/8 of your bankroll, wow, talk about stress. So keep your stress as minimal as you can. Do this by playing stakes where you don't feel the pressure of loss. Of course, you don't want to lose, but losing a $10 a $10 buy-in, if you have $1,000 in your bankroll, not that big of a deal, right? Very little stress right there. So if your bankroll is set to wherever it is, drop down in stakes if you can't just add money to your bankroll. And I don't generally recommend adding to your bankroll. Drop down in stakes instead to make your play a little bit more comfortable. Build that bankroll so that you can play at the higher stakes. All right, thing number 4 that you can do, choose the lower rake option. So for me in town here, I live in Fresno, California. I have 2 card rooms, the best 2 card rooms in town that I go to. One has a maximum rake of $6 per hand, and the other has a maximum rake of $7 per hand. I also play at like 2 different online poker sites, one with a better rake structure than the other. So guess which card room I play at most of the time? Live, yeah, the lower raked one at $6 per hand max. Online, the lower rake one as well. Now, I understand rake, and that's how poker rooms stay in business, and I want them to stay in business because I want to keep playing poker. They have to turn that profit, you know? But with all things equal, if the player pool is equal, the software is equal, the game times are equal, like the number of tournaments or the number of tables going on is all equal, then you're better off just choosing to play where it costs less money. Just like in life, within poker, a penny saved is a penny earned. The lower rake option, that could be the difference between making like $15 per hour versus $10 per hour, or maybe for cash game players, a $7 big blind per 100 hands win rate versus a 3 big blinds per 100 hands win rate. And speaking of rake, if you play online, you should play on sites that offer Rakeback. Rakeback is basically every week they kick back a portion of the rake that you pay, they put it directly into your account. I actually get 27% Rakeback at America's Cardroom. If you want this Rakeback deal for yourself, just go to smartpokerstudy.com/ACR. And when you sign up to America's Cardroom, use offer code SPSPOD for a bonus and that 27% Rakeback. All right, thing number 3 is to ditch distractions. The key idea here is that poker time is poker time. It's time for you to focus on using the skills that you're learning off the felt, to pay attention to your opponents, to pay attention to the actions, to do hand reading in game, to learn your opponent's tendencies, and to come up with ways to exploit those tendencies. Poker time is not time to watch Sports Center, to play Wordle, to play Candy Crush, to respond to emails. That's my big downfall. I respond to emails during poker time, right? But the thing is, these things, Candy Crush, Wordle, Sports Center, they take up that valuable mental real estate, which should be used and could be used for making great decisions instead. Maybe as you're playing, you get bored, you fold 10 hands in a row, and you start to feel like you need a distraction, right? What I recommend is try to force yourself to pay attention to all the information coming your way. If you play online, you have a HUD. You folded the past 10, 15, 20 hands. Use that time to analyze your opponents. Who's the most likely 3-bet bluffer at your table? Who's the best player to steal their blinds? Who's the best player to target because they're the fishiest one at the table? Who has short stacks? Who has big stacks? Who's aggressive? Who shows down Jack-8 suited 3-betting? All that kind of stuff. You're paying attention, gaining as much information as possible. Hopefully, that mental work that you're doing will help you avoid that boredom and distractions. Today's episode is brought to you by my brand new FLOPZILLA Pro course. Go to smartpokerstudy.com/FLOPZILLA Pro course to check it out and to pick it up for yourself. The course itself comes with 6 lessons and over 2.5 hours of training. There's also a 19-page workbook with an answer key. And there's a few bonuses that come along with it, which brings the total package up to 11 videos, 3 and 3/4 hours of training. This is what you need to really learn FLOPZILLA Pro. Get it today, smartpokerstudy.com/FLOPZILLA Pro course. All right, thing number 2, and this is one of my favorites, and I mentioned it in the last part, it's that you want to target the fish at your table. So as a winning player, a majority of your profits come from those weak, inexperienced recreational players, the ones that we call the fish. These fishy players, they just play way too many hands pre-flop. They limp and they call with anything pretty because, hey, it's suited. They love to see those flops. They hate folding on the flop with any kind of pair or any kind of draw. And they're totally willing to put chips in with subpar hands. Your poker profits, a huge part of them, come from making better decisions than the fish do. But in order for your skill edge against the fish to win you some chips, you have to play against them, right? So look for every opportunity to enter the pot heads up against the fish while you hold a superior hand to their range. For example, like holding ace-10 offsuit. That's great when they have every ace, every king, many queens, every suited connector in their range. Or suited gappers too, offsuit 9-8 offsuit, right? Your ace-10 is crushing them. So here are 3 strategies for getting the fish heads up to the flop. Number 1 is to raise when the fish limps in. And you want to make it a size large enough to get everyone else to fold and that weakest player at the table to call. Strategy 2, when the fish are in the blinds, open raise large enough to get everyone else to fold and, once again, just that fishy player to call. And if the fishy player raises ahead of you with a wide range of hands, you want to re-raise or 3-bet them with hands ahead of their calling range. Because if you call this player's open raise, that just builds the pot for everyone else to call. Now you just built a multi-way pot when you could have 3-bet instead, getting that fish heads up to yourself. And it's a critical idea to remember that fish are your friends. They are your source of profits. So you want them happy. You want them to keep playing with you. So don't berate them in chat, or if you're playing live, don't make fun of them at the live table, right? Sympathize with them, empathize with them, be nice to them, keep them coming back to continually hand you their chips. All right, the final thing, number one, the final thing to improve your results, and it's number one because it's the most difficult on the list, it's to study to plug your poker leaks. So this final strategy, it's all about increasing your results or improving your results by decreasing your losses. So you do this by finding your areas of weakness, or what we call poker leaks. Once you find a leak, once you find a weakness, you must study profitable strategies and play with purpose to use them in game. So let's take a very common example. Many players have this leak. Maybe you realize that pre-flop, you are profitable when you're open raising, but you're losing way too much when you're calling. Super common leak, right? So what you got to do is go to the YouTubes, the podcasts, different poker sites, find videos, articles, and podcasts that teach you proper strategy around making profitable pre-flop calls. So once you find the perfect item, maybe it's a prior video that I put out there, maybe it's a video within the Poker Forge, maybe it's a podcast episode that I gave on calling pre-flop, right? It's your job to consume that product or that content and then take notes on it within your poker journal. And then you need to play your next few sessions with the goal of using those strategies whenever it seems like a profitable opportunity. After you play with purpose a couple times, go ahead and re-consume that content. Revise your notes and then play for a few more sessions again to plug those leaks and to utilize the strategies you're learning. Rinse and repeat this process over and over again until that leak is plugged and you feel so much more confident and you're more profitable when you make those plays. Challenge! Here's my challenge to you for this episode. I just gave you 5 ways to improve your poker results. I would really love it if you did all 5 starting today, but hey, that's not my challenge. My challenge is to just start with 1. I don't care which one you do. Study to plug your leaks, target the fish, ditch distractions, choose a lower raked site or option, or play the stakes you're bankrolled for. Whatever it is, choose one. See how that affects your results, see how that affects your gameplay, your enjoyment of the game, and then if it helped, hey, move on to number 2, then 3, then 4, then number 5. Now it's your turn to take action and do something positive for your poker game.
Oh, that's it now. Get out there and be somebody. Go write a book.
Quick shout out today. I've got to thank these awesome poker peeps for getting my FLOPZILLA Pro course. They went to smartpokerstudy.com/FLOPZILLA Pro course, and now they're getting the most out of this #1 poker software. So I got to thank Randy Knoll, Greg Pajic, Ken Halbert, John Cantu, Gary Redwood, Carlos Contreras, Mark Remnant, John Mogusar, Mitch Patton, Simon Erb, Dane Dice, Anatoly Valchkov, Craig Scott, Mack, Anthony Mara, Brian Roy, Kenneth Zarifs, and Clarence Kincaid. Thank you so much for getting the FLOPZILLA Pro course so that you can learn everything that you need to get the most out of this valuable software. For everyone else, go to smartpokerstudy.com/FLOPZILLA Pro course to check this out and pick it up today. Alrighty, poker peeps, your learning isn't complete until you visit the show notes page, smartpokerstudy.com/pod378. And again, you can go to the YouTube channel to watch the podcast there, smartpokerstudy.com/YouTube. We're midway through February, 45 days into 2022. How's your year progressing? If you want to get the most out of this year, join thepokerforge.com right now. It's my one-of-a-kind poker training site where I combine strategy, action steps, quizzes, and play demonstrations like no other site with 9 masterclass courses that will teach you all the strategies that you need for a successful 2022 and beyond. So go to thepokerforge.com right now for more info and to sign up today. Until next time, take action both on and off the felt to become the player that you want to be.